It's a sort of purgatory. Day, night, it makes no difference. In their thousands, they just have to wait. And they're sleeping rough, hoping for news. Hoping they can get into the system. A system that will get them out of Afghanistan. The truth is, most of them probably won't. Thousands of children, parents and grandparents grabbing sleep or basically passing out from exhaustion. The struggle never stops. No food, little water. But it is cooler at night. When the sun comes up, the true horror of the conditions they're living in is obvious. And it is absolutely dreadful. They're penned in. This is the American section of the processing chain. Higher security alerts means there's no movement allowed. There is no shade here, only what can be fashioned from scarves and plastic. Soldiers slowly try to work through the paperwork of the evacuees, but the conditions are getting stricter and more are failing the test of eligibility. But for everyone here, even these awful conditions are better than what may await them outside the military lines.
Outside this Taliban is kicking the people with a rifle, with everything. I put in a wood with the people. You can check him. Outside this Taliban is very fighting with the people.
At the British end of the process, the Taliban and paratrooper cooperation is actually working quite well. And you couldn't make this up. Taliban fighters oversee the crowds from sea containers the paras put in to create a screening barrier.
Well, it's an incongruous sight having the Taliban right next to and, in fact, through the British lines. But you can see in front it's much calmer here. The British military are able to process people, and I think what they've done is got the message through to the local people. If you're rioting and shouting and screaming and people are getting hurt, there's no way that this can be processed properly. So for now, at least, it's calm. I mean, there'll be anxiety, it'll change, it always does. But this is a lot better than yesterday, a lot better.
Containing the crowds is vital here. Clearing up this evacuation mess requires some pretty lateral thinking. Obviously, after 20 years of fighting, this is something of a culture shock for the soldiers, but also for the Taliban.
The main thing for us is to make sure that we have a smooth possible system to get those entitled people through. And at the moment, that involves an element of the Taliban being here alongside us, as you will have seen while you've been here. And ultimately, we have to put our thoughts of previous tours aside, because ultimately everybody is trying to get the same situation here, which is avoid a humanitarian crisis and bring those people through that need to be.
But it's just the strangest thing, isn't it? Strange times, I suppose.
It's strange times, but like I say, if we weren't here, who would be? It needs to be done, and as you said, everybody is feeling it, but ultimately you put that to one side and get on with the job.
This is now a multinational nightmare, not just the US and Britain. In the crowds, they try to identify themselves to the soldiers and foreign services of countries they have links to. Their days are spent hoping someone will spot them and take them out of this hellhole and onto a plane. The wait is often days and days. In the horrendous rush to get here, families have been split. Posters for missing children are dotted amongst the crowds. People search for their loved ones in a daze of panic. But this is a tough environment. Only a few will make the flights, only some will go as a complete family, and nobody knows how long they have. It is purgatory. Stuart Ramsey.